Dorothy Boyette was an amazing woman who I looked up to and will forever think of as a role model. She was a wife, a mother of two, a grandmother of three, but more than anything, she was my best friend. Losing her was the hardest thing I had been through in a long time. She always could tell when I needed to talk or when my feelings were hurt. Mama knew the right thing to say when a pick-me-up was needed. When I was a little girl, there were many late-night talks with her that gave me a sense of hope and comfort. She really helped me believe that I could make it in this cruel, cruel world. She would have given me the world if it had been possible. She never hesitated to go out of her way for the people she loved. Anyone who knew Mama knew her as a loving and selfless individual. She didn't waste her time worrying about what could go wrong, but what lessons could be taught when something did go wrong. She was selfless with her time, often devoted on others by putting them before herself. One of my favorite family traditions was Friday night dinners. She insisted that she be at the end of the serving line, as she called it, to make sure that everyone else had a full plate before even considering herself. When my mom would go away on business trips, we could always count on her to cook every night. My grandmother had a huge heart and loved to show love for whoever needed it. One thing she greatly enjoyed was showing love to her family and friends by always being there when they needed her. She was a constant presence in her church and community. If there wasn't enough food at an event, they could always call her and know she would do her best to whip something up. She never expected anyone to repay her for her helping. She was always the one that had the reputation for being one tough old lady and giving 100% even when she didn't have it. Mama knew that her time, effort, and energy would pay off in the long run. She always gave more time, energy, and effort than she ever had, but never would admit to not feeling at her best. She was far from delicate and never the type to beg for anyone's sympathy. She would always say, "While sympathy is nice, it doesn't mean it will make me feel any better." Along with being the most gentle and loving person I've ever known, she was also what you'd call independent and very stubborn. If she couldn't accomplish something on her own, she often said, if I can't do it, it doesn't need to be done." She was never the one to shoulder her burdens on someone else, but would always take on everyone else's. It's a complete and utter joy to know how many lives Mama touched throughout her life. I feel so proud of her when people's eyes light up with excitement and they tell me their stories about her kindness when they hear I'm her granddaughter. I find myself often tearing up when cooking her old recipes that I know will never turn out the way she did, but it just makes the memories even more special. I hope one day I can be even half the wife, mother, and woman she was to the people around her. I always have her as an example to follow and her memories to honor.